Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on a pair of earrings using our Charlotte's Web bead mix that came in our Jesse James Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box for January Book Club. Now I think these are not going to be too hard to make, so we do have to do a little wire work, but let's turn down and do that. I am going to have to get out a couple of pieces of 20 gauge gold wire, but in the meantime, how we're going to do this is we're going to take and make a little loop through here with the wire and do a tiny wire wrap right there. And the next thing is we're going to use this gold teardrop with, just got a bead cap on the bottom here. And then the gold teardrop with the bead cap on top, like so. Next will be one of these big flat washers. Now these two bead caps are out of my stash. Everything else, other than the ear wires, are from the bead mix. So then we're going to put this pretty square, or rectangle as the case may be, a daisy spacer, and this little bicone. So there we go. I have extra bead caps in here. Don't know why, because I'm not using them for anything. I must have just flipped 4 in there. So, then of course it'll go up on its earwire. So, that's the other earring pieces right there. So we'll put those over here. And we'll get out 2 pieces of wire to make this up. Okay, I have got some gold 20 gauge wire out, and we're going to get probably 4 or 5 inches. I probably don't need that much, but because I'm going to do a wrap up here and bring this around and do a wrap down here, we want, I'm going to say about this much. So let's just cut this off and we'll measure it, see how much it ends up being. But in the meantime, I might as well cut both of them at the same time. This is probably, like I say, more than I need, so there we go. There's two pieces of gold 20 gauge wire. I'll put the rest of it away. And get out our ruler to see how large that is. So, I'd say it's at least 5. Yeah, it's about 5.5. I would think 5 would be sufficient, but I'm one of those strange people that always feels I need extra. So, let's bend this in half, like about right here, maybe even up a little further, to do our bottom piece here. So, once you've got that piece done, you need to bend it again, but you need to bend it after you've got your crystal on. Guess it doesn't matter which is front and back. So we'll put our crystal on, then we will want to bend it again. Very carefully bend it up, just a little bit ways from that, so you don't worry about, you don't crack it, nor do you get it too tight. So, see, it doesn't move very much even as is, so that's fine. So now what you're going to do is you're going to bring your wires together like so. You don't want to bust your tip, so be careful as you do this. And this didn't bend really straightly, so let's see if I can straighten it without damaging my crystal here. There we go. So bring them down till they make this triangle here. Then you want to take the shorter one. It's a little awkward here to do. Get hold of it where they come together and bend it sideways like so. Now where they come together again, you want to take your other one. See, it's going at an angle and you want it to go straight. So then you do like you do any wrapped loop. You hold on to where the wires come together and you wrap this other one up around your straight one. You wrap your bent one up around your straight one. And I'm not going to do too many wraps because I don't want a big signature here. So then I'm going to cut this off, making sure I don't have the wire down below in, because sometimes if you're not careful, that's exactly what will happen to you, and you then cut your wire in half. So, okay, once that's tucked in, straighten your wire, because as you can see, I've got it crooked. This could tuck just a little bit tighter here. And this could go a little bit straighter up. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to put on our beads. And I've got this crooked again right here. So we're going to start with this bead cap, which doesn't want to go on. So I'm going to get my bead reamer. It's probably clogged with a little bit of something. And I always keep my bead reamer close by just in case my spacers are acting up like this, because sometimes the coating that they put on them to give them the antique look doesn't all get out of the hole. So then this wire is looking too bent. I need to straighten it some. There we go. Our little bead cap. I hope it's bending backwards. I see. We don't want to do that. That's better. Then this big spacer, our little rectangle, daisy spacer, bicone, and what I didn't mention when I was listing off the beads was this little tiny ball spacer. I'm putting it on to protect the bicone as I wrap. So now it's time to wrap this up and put on our ear wire. Isn't that going to be pretty? So we just do like normal. Face that direction. Bend it over. Get our bell making pliers or round pliers if you prefer. Grab it with the small bell up, making sure you've got it the right direction for your ear wire. Go up and over, and I bent that some as I came. We're going to have to straighten that up. Come down and around and even her out some. We'll see if we can straighten this right now some. Feed our ear wire on. Come on, why are you being so difficult? You've got a gap there. I can see it. There we go. Up and around. Grab this where they come together with your pliers, like so. Grab your other pliers and wrap it. Wanting to be difficult, it just slid down. See how it slid down the base? That's why I said, oh, it tried to keep your keep your wire close to being straight across when you bring it across. This was crooked anyway, so I might as well straighten it where I'm at this. Now see, this wire is down here. I need to get it up here, so we'll put our pliers in the loop and then put the other side against the wire. See how I'm doing that? And push it up some. So now hopefully it will stay where I want it to be. So we'll re-grab, turn her over, push this up just a little bit more, and come around. Clip the extra and tuck it in. And there you go. Let's see if she's straight with this one and this one down below. Could go a little bit. But there is our first earring. So now we do the second one just the same. So we take our wire and bend it pretty far up the length of it. Slide our little chandelier crystal onto the wire. And then go forward just a hair's breadth from the bead. And bend it up. Okay, now you bring these two together, a triangle. We want to try and get about the same distance as the other one, so about right here. So then you take this one, bend it straight across, then take the other one and bend it straight up. And that's a little too far up, but maybe not. Well, yeah, a little bit. There. Now we want to hold them together and wrap this up. No, you can't go on top of your buddy. Okay, I think that's about where we ended it the last time. So let's cut it off here and we'll tuck it in. And straighten her up. Now if it looks like they're a little high, you can put the tip of your pliers into the loop and then go on the other side with your pliers and push them together just a teeny bit. You don't want to overdo it or they'll crunch up on each other. But Oop, don't drop it down there. You might break it. Okay, that looks a little bit crooked to me, so I'm going to try and straighten it some. There we go. Now we feed our beads on the same way as the other one, with our bead cap first. Now see, that one's being stubborn also. So we'll get out our bead reamer. I'm piling my tools up over here. And ream this little cap out a little bit. That's better. Now our gold teardrop. Our other gold cap. This one here. Our little rectangle. The daisy spacer. The bicone. And our little tiny ball spacer. Now we want to make sure that we've got our wrap going the proper way when we do our top here, because they need to go in opposite directions. So make sure we can see through this loop and then bring our pliers in and give her our 90-degree bend. Now we want our bell making pliers in with the small bell up top, up and around, bring her down, leave her a little gap, and straighten her up. And as you can see, she's pretty much the opposite spot as the other one. So now we will take and feed our ear wire on. Come on, baby, go on. I know I left a gap. There we go. There we go. Now we grab it where the wires come together. Your wire, get out of the way. Straighten this up so it's pretty much straight across. And then bring her around. Now that first loop will go pretty close as long as you're straight like that. You can get it without being entirely straight, but sometimes it just helps that you're straight like that. Then you don't have to worry about it going off in a tangent somewhere. So cut off the excess and tuck it in. Okay, now the last step, which you probably are going, but it's done. Well, yes and no. The last step is to make sure that everything is straight. Oh, that one's not in quite all the way as far as my tuck. So tuck, there we go. Is everything looking straight? Looks like this one could roll this direction just a hair. Now I messed up the bottom part here. Looks pretty good. Now let's look at the other one, make sure it looks straight. Now this one, see, is tipped some. It looks pretty silly. Okay, let's go just there. Yeah. So there we go. There's our earrings. Aren't those pretty? So there you have it. Our earrings made from our Charlotte's Web mini bead mix from, there's the earrings again. Aren't those pretty? Now, if you didn't like as long an earring as these are, as you can see, they're relatively long, you could leave the crystal off the bottom and just use the top beads, or you could leave the top beads off and just use the crystal and maybe the teardrop. There's many variations you could make on these, but aren't those pretty? Those are our earrings made from our Charlotte's Web mini mix from Jessie James Beads' Magical Mystery Bead Box for January Book Club. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and I hope you enjoyed making those with me. I think they turned out pretty nicely. There they are again. Bye-bye.